Every gardener knows the scene all too well. Spring arrives, seeds are ready and enthusiasm is high. Yet, as soon as the shovel hits the ground, the soil feels like a slab of concrete. Hours are spent breaking clods, loosening hardened earth, and battling exhaustion before a single seed goes into the ground. But here's the secret seasoned gardeners have uncovered. There's a way to prepare your soil in autumn so that by spring it is naturally fluffy, rich, and ready for planting without a single stroke of the shovel. This isn't theory, it's practical, proven, and it works because it partners with nature instead of fighting it. Let's dive into how you can set up your garden in autumn to do all the work for you, leaving you with effortless planting beds come spring. For generations, the shovel has been seen as the gardener's badge of honor. We dig deep in autumn, believing it creates loose, fertile beds. But here's the hard truth. Deep digging often does the opposite. Soil is a living structure, like a layered cake. Each layer has its own community of bacteria, fungi and organisms adapted to very specific conditions. When you flip these layers upside down, you suffocate beneficial microbes, disturb earthworm tunnels, and destroy natural soil architecture. The result is soil that looks loose at first but quickly compacts into hard clumps by spring. Instead of nurturing life, digging weakens it. The better way forward is to support soil life so it does the digging, aerating and enriching for you silently, steadily, all winter long. If there is one autumn step you should never skip, it is mulching. Mulch is not just a blanket, it is a shield, an insulator and a pantry for soil life. When you spread mulch over your garden beds in autumn, it keeps the soil from drying, prevents erosion, regulates temperature, and, most importantly, breaks down into organic matter that microorganisms and worms thrive on. The key is to use materials that decompose slowly enough to nourish the soil for months. Dry, healthy leaves are excellent, especially when layered 10 to 15 centimeters thick. Straw is another fantastic option, offering up to 20 centimeters of cover that traps moisture and creates a perfect winter habitat for microbes and worms. Well-dried grass works if applied in thinner layers, providing nitrogen, while aged sawdust or wood chips enrich the soil with carbon. Avoid fresh sawdust, which steals nitrogen, and never use diseased plant matter. When done correctly, mulching turns your garden beds into protected, nutrient-rich ecosystems that will be soft and airy by spring. Autumn is, honestly, the perfect time to fuel the billions of tiny workers hidden in your soil. Compost and well-rotted manure are more than just fertilizers. They are life-giving energy sources for bacteria, fungi and worms. Simply spread a layer across the surface, no need to bury it deep, and then cover it with mulch. The microorganisms that thrive in the top 5 to 10 centimeters will immediately get to work, slowly digesting organic matter and, well, enriching the soil. By the time spring arrives, these organisms will have turned rough compost into humus, a fluffy, nutrient-dense structure that plants absolutely love. If you want your soil to practically farm itself, give it this fuel in autumn and nature will handle the rest. Green manure, often called cover crops, are unsung heroes of soil improvement. By sowing certain plants in autumn, not for food but purely to heal the soil, you invite living roots to do the deep work for you. Oats and rye thrive in cooler weather, spreading roots that naturally break up compacted layers and add organic matter. Mustard brings another bonus. It suppresses weeds and harmful microbes while deterring pests. Sow these seeds early enough in autumn so they have time to establish before frost. By spring, you can cut them down and leave them on the soil surface as mulch or lightly mix them in. Either way, your soil will already be fluffy, enriched and brimming with nutrients when planting time comes. Forget blisters and sore backs. Earthworms are your real soil diggers. They burrow endlessly, leaving behind channels that act as natural ventilation shafts for water and air. Their castings, known as vermicompost, are one of the most nutrient-rich fertilizers nature can provide. The secret to attracting more worms is simple. Give them organic matter. Mulch, compost and cover crops create the perfect buffet. The more food they have, the more they multiply, and the more aerated and fertile your soil becomes. If you want to replace your shovel with an army of invisible workers, feed your worms in autumn and let them transform your soil all winter long. Here is a secret that very few gardeners know, but once tried, it changes everything. Fermented organic fertilizers. Unlike raw compost or manure, these are pre-digested with beneficial microbes, making them biologically active powerhouses. The most famous of these is Bokashi, a Japanese method where food scraps, bran or plant residues are treated with effective microorganisms and left to ferment in airtight conditions. When added to soil, Bokashi does not just feed. It inoculates the soil with armies of beneficial microbes that accelerate decomposition, suppress disease-causing organisms, and improve soil structure. To prepare a simple liquid fermented feed, dilute 1 cup of Bokashi bran in 5 litres of non-chlorinated water and pour evenly across your garden bed before mulching. This ensures microbes penetrate the soil before winter, giving your garden an energetic head start by spring. By the time warmer weather arrives, the organic matter will already be transformed into easily available nutrients, meaning your beds will be rich, fluffy, and biologically alive. Even the fluffiest soil will disappoint if its pH is off. Nutrients become locked away in soils that are too acidic or too alkaline. Most vegetables prefer a range between 6.0 and 7.0. Autumn is actually the best time to make corrections because, well, changes happen gradually over winter. If your soil is too acidic, just apply finely ground dolomite lime at a rate of 200 grams per square metre. Then lightly rake it into the surface or, leave it under mulch. Dolomite not only neutralizes acidity but also supplies magnesium, which is, honestly, an often overlooked nutrient that's essential for healthy plant growth. By spring, rainfall and microbial action will have balanced the pH, creating really optimal conditions for your crops. Many gardeners, clear beds until they look bare and polished, believing this is tidy and healthy. But in reality, this so-called surgical clean approach actually leaves soil exposed and vulnerable. Just take a look at a forest floor. Nobody rakes it, yet it thrives, doesn't it? Leaves, stems and fallen matter, well, they decompose naturally into humus, protecting the soil while feeding it at the same time. Leaving healthy plant residues, such as trimmed stems or grass clippings, creates a natural mulch layer. Come spring, much of it will have broken down into rich organic matter, sparing you hours of work and leaving the soil fluffy and fertile. Now here's the best part. By following these autumn strategies, spring no longer means endless digging or fighting compacted soil. Instead, you peel back your mulch and find beds that are already soft, airy and ready for planting. You simply make holes and drop in seedlings. The soil crumbles beautifully around your fingers, rich with life, worms and nutrients. This is the gardener's dream. Less work, better harvests, and a garden that feels like it prepares itself. All because you chose to work with nature's rhythms in autumn. The true secret of autumn is not about digging harder, but about, creating conditions where soil life does the work for you. Mulch, compost, green manure, worms, fermented organics and pH balance all combine into a system where, by spring, your soil is naturally fluffy, fertile and alive. So, let your shovel rest this autumn. Instead, invest in feeding the life beneath your feet. When spring arrives, you'll be rewarded with the easiest planting season you've ever experienced and a harvest that truly reflects the wisdom of working with nature. If you found this guide valuable, make sure to subscribe to Timeless Crops Haven, hit the like button and share this with fellow gardeners. Let's spread the word that gardening doesn't have to be backbreaking. It can be smart, sustainable and, well, incredibly rewarding.